We here at the Sports History Network proudly partner with 26 podcasts, all revolving around the history of sports. But did you know that many of our hosts were sports history authors way before they started their shows? It's true. We've got Joe Ziemba, host of When Football Was Football, Joe Zagurski, host of Pro Football in the 1970s, Mark Morthier, host of Yesterday's Sports, Tommy Phillips, host of Lombardi Memories, and Scott Adamson, co-host of From the 55-Yard Line. All these authors have many books for you to choose from. To check them out, go to our website at sportshistorynetwork.com/sportshistorybooks. Pick up your copy today. Soundtrack provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello again, I'm John Gidley, and welcome to another trip into the football attic. Last time we talked about the 1999 Jacksonville Jaguars, who went undefeated against the rest of the NFL, except for the 3 games they played against the Tennessee Titans. Today we're going to talk about the Jaguars' expansion counterpart, the Carolina Panthers, specifically the 2001 Panthers, who won on opening day, then lost each of their next 15 games. First, a little backstory. If you were with us last time, you'll know that the Carolina Panthers came into the NFL in 1995, along with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Unlike the Jaguars, however, the Panthers barely had any growing pains in their first season. Yes, they started 0-5, but they finished the year winning 7 of 11. The offense struggled to score points, but the defense was one of the best in football. Carolina lucked out by acquiring such talented defensive veterans as Sam Mills, Tim McKyer, and Brett Maxey. In 1996, the offense scored more points, the defense became even better with the addition of former Steelers linebacker Kevin Green, and as a result, the Panthers went 12-4, won the NFC West, earned a first-round bye, and beat the defending Super Bowl champion Cowboys in the divisional round. Their luck ran out the next week as they lost the NFC Championship game in Green Bay to the eventual Super Bowl champion Packers. After 2 disappointing seasons in 1997 and 98, Carolina fired their first head coach, Dom Capers, and replaced him with George Seifert, who had previously won 2 Super Bowls as head coach of the 49ers. In each of his first 2 seasons, the Panthers just barely missed the playoffs, turning his third season, 2001, into a make-or-break year. That offseason, Seifert created a controversy by releasing quarterback Steve Berline. Berline had slightly regressed in 2000 after throwing for over 4,400 yards and 36 touchdown passes in 1999. Seifert's reasoning was that he wanted a younger, more agile quarterback. Berline was now 36. Therefore, the starting job was given to Chris Weinke, a 29-year-old rookie coming off a Heisman-winning season at Florida State. Seifert's natural hope was that Weinke's college success would follow him to the NFL. In the Panthers' first game of the 2001 season, that hope showed some signs of life. Carolina played at Minnesota against a Vikings team that had won 11 games the year before. Panthers rookie Steve Smith took the opening kickoff 93 yards for a touchdown, and Weinke overcame a second-half deficit by throwing a touchdown and rushing for another, giving Carolina a 24-13 opening day upset win. In retrospect, the players and fans should have savored every moment of that game, because it was the last time the Panthers would leave the field with a win for over a year. The 2001 Panthers became the first and so far only team in the era of the 16-game schedule to win their first game and then lose each of their final 15. While Chris Weinke ran for 6 touchdowns, his passing statistics were entirely underwhelming. Just under 3,000 yards, only 11 touchdown passes, and 19 interceptions. The offense did not have either a 1,000-yard rusher or receiver. The defense was decent, but they had no hope of success with such a dreadful offense. Much like any 1-15 team, the Panthers had their fair share of blowout losses. A 28-7 defeat at home to the Packers in Week 3, a 48-14 loss at the St. Louis Rams, and 2 home blowouts to end the season, 30-7 against the Cardinals and 38-6 against the Patriots. Leaving those embarrassments aside, there were many, many instances where Carolina could have picked up another victory. In a Week 5 home game against New Orleans, the Panthers overcame a 17-0 deficit to take a 25-20 lead late in the fourth quarter, but the defense let the Saints march 82 yards in 15 plays. Ricky Williams scored on a 1-yard touchdown run at the gun, and New Orleans escaped with a 27-25 win. The next week in Washington, Carolina led 14-0 in the fourth quarter, but proceeded to give up 2 game-tying touchdowns. A chip shot field goal in overtime gave Washington a 17-14 victory. The week after that, at home against the Jets, the Panthers blew a 12-7 second-half lead and lost 13-12. In Week 10, Carolina led San Francisco at home 22-14, but Jeff Garcia threw a 7-yard touchdown pass to Terrell Owens with 1 second left in regulation, and the 49ers successfully got a 2-point conversion to send the game to overtime. You know what happens next. San Francisco kicks the winning field goal and comes away with a 25-22 victory. The next week, at home against Atlanta, the Panthers trailed 10-7 with less than a minute to go, but Wenke threw an interception on their final drive to thwart their attempts to either tie or win the game. The next week in New Orleans, John Casey kicked a 51-yard field goal to give Carolina a 23-20 lead with under 3 minutes to play. As you might expect, Aaron Brooks threw a 17-yard touchdown pass to Joe Horn, and the Saints won 27-23. While all of these losses were disappointing, none was worse than what happened the next week in Buffalo, when the 1-11 Panthers faced the 1-10 Bills. Carolina had a 24-6 first-half lead and was in great position to finally get their second win. Instead, Buffalo scored 19 unanswered points to get their second win, 25-24. That's 7, count them 7 times that the Panthers could have won. What could have been an 8-8 season instead ended up at 1-15. George Seifert was fired at year's end and replaced by Giants defensive coordinator John Fox. Chris Wenke would only start one game for the Panthers in 2002, being replaced first by Rodney Peete, then by Jake Delhomme, who in 2003, against all odds, led Carolina to the Super Bowl, where they fittingly lost to the Patriots on a game-winning field goal with 4 seconds left, proving that 2001 wasn't a distant memory. Thanks for joining me for this trip into the football attic. I hope to see you again next time. In the meantime, check out all the other great podcasts here on the Sports History Network, catch up on previous episodes of the Football Attic, and follow me on Twitter at JFG Sports. Until next time, this is John Gidley.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
We at the Sports History Network are thrilled to work with our sponsors and partners. With their support, we are able to produce great content for you. The other cool thing is most of our sponsors and partners offer discounts to pass along to our fans. So if you go to the sportshistorynetwork.com/sponsors page, you'll find Row 1, Royal Retros, Play Classic, Thrive Fantasy, and Mega Seats. All of these offer great discounts. Specifically at Row 1, you can save 15% at the Row 1 Gallery with the code SHN. The Row 1 Gallery includes over 5,200 reproduced sports history prints on a variety of sizes of wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. The Row 1 shop also has thousands of more unique items with retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts and long-sleeve shirts, phone cases and mugs, blankets and pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. With Royal Retros, they're the king of throwbacks. They've got jerseys, shirts, hats, collectibles, and more from defunct leagues and other teams in those leagues. From Play Classic Games, it's sports simulation board games. Just use the code SHN for 10% off your first order. From Thrive Fantasy, it's a daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. Use the promo code SHN for instant 100% match up to $100. And with Mega Seats, they're tickets with no fees. You can save up to 10% with the code SHN. So check them out on the sportshistorynetwork.com sponsors page. That's sportshistorynetwork.com/sponsors. The soundtrack is provided by Kevin MacLeod of filmmusic.io.